Hi, and welcome to Plan First Live. I'm Sean Larkin, and Plan First is a design company based in Auckland, New Zealand, and we specialize in architecture, interior design, interior decorating, landscaping design. So if anybody needs residential design work done, new builds, renovations, even just planting plans, you are more than welcome to get in touch with us. We can assist you with that. Right, today we're going to be talking about bringing greenery into your home in the form of planting. So we are going to specifically look at smaller spaces, apartment spaces. Sometimes you don't have as much footprint to work with. And we'll also have a look at what are good plants to have indoors and where you should use those plants, the pros and cons, ideal spaces to put them in, etc. So if you have a look at I don't want to call it a blank canvas because we do have a bit of furniture in here, but very nice apartment, furnished nicely, but it is plain, it is lifeless. It's not cramped in this instance, but yes, you can have an apartment that is small, that is a little bit too cramped, but sometimes it's cramped with the wrong stuff. So even though an apartment can be clean, it can be well designed, it can be flat. But the minute you bring greenery and plants in, the space comes to life. There's movement, you've got the different greens of the plants, the different textures as well. So often we speak about bringing different textures in through furnishings and furniture, and the same applies with plants. Don't have plants that are all the same shade and the same texture. Bring a bit of interest in. So just create that movement, and it instantly transforms your space. Now, why do plants matter? They immediately improve your mood. They lighten the space. They give a bit of visual stimulation as well. And they make the space feel more alive, particularly if you've got plants that are next to the window. They look different throughout the day, depending on whether you've got the sun coming in or whether maybe at night you've got lighting within those plants. You can do a lot with planting inside. Often one thinks of lighting planting just on the outside in your garden, but you can do it just as easily on the interior of your home. First impressions, we spoke about that last week, I think it was. Add a plant at your front door or outside your front door before people have actually even entered your home. It just softens the space, it makes it feel very welcoming, and it completes it. It is part of your home's decor. So as much as you're going to focus on your furniture and your artwork, take a bit of time to research the plants as well, keeping in mind that we'll have a look at types of plants a bit later, but make sure that you are positioning plants that need sun close to the window, that they do get a bit of sun during the day. And plants that don't like sun, just make sure that they're away from the window. It is difficult to look after plants when they are positioned in the wrong space. So use your plant as a focal point. It does anchor the space. It gives a bit of height to the space as well. And it draws attention to it. What is important is to just make sure that the health of your plant is good, because there's nothing worse than having a focal point, being a plant, and half of it is struggling to stay alive. So just keep that in mind. If you haven't got green fingers, make sure you choose plants that are hardy and that don't need as much attention as what you can actually give it. And often in these instances, the bigger the plant, the better. So the bigger, the better. Corner spaces. Often corner spaces are dead spaces. So beautifully brought to life by plants. Just make sure that you don't want to plant in every single corner that you have. Choose one corner and make that the focal point, can be the focal point of the room with that one really striking plant. The monsteras, which we'll look at later, are very, very good for dramatic aesthetic appeal. But it does create a bit of height. It fills the space, which would be a dead space. And it creates a little bit of structure to the room as well. Of course, the plants love light. So if you can place plants near the window, it's always a good thing. And also having the light coming through the plants, it does add a little bit of interest. Some leaves will be more lit up or more transparent than others. So it just brings it to life more than it would if they were all, say, in the center of the apartment and not getting that dramatic sunlight falling on them. Vertical spaces in apartments, very important because you are limited with the floor area that you have got and your footprint. Use your walls as vertical space for your plants. And you can do that through shelving with the trailing plants, as you can see here. Or you can also have pots which are attached to the walls. But make use of your vertical space. It is there. And it does create an artwork within itself, actually. Of course, you can have hanging baskets as well, which is quite popular at the moment with the natural materials being used more and more. Plants always look good when they are positioned in proximity to natural wood. So the shelving, in this instance being timber, is a very good selection of shelving. What would look good here as well is if you've got strip lighting underneath those shelves. So at night, those plants would be lit up and you'd actually have a feature wall in your apartment. You can also use them to divide between zones. So if you have an open plan space and you may be a little bit uncomfortable in that open space, you'd like the dining room a little bit more privacy, you can use plants as a screen between those two spaces. Even if you've got a home office, you could use plants to divide your workspace from the rest of that open plan. Right, now you're going to say which are the best plants to use because, one just doesn't know. There's so many plants out there. But we've narrowed it down today to just 5 of the hardiest and most impactful plants that you can use. Of course, you don't have to stick to these 5. You can go to your local nursery, see what's available for your local climate as well. That's also very important. But this is one of the favorites of mine, and the reason being is it's extremely hard to kill. So personally, I don't have very green fingers, shamefully, but this is a very good choice for somebody that is either a beginner gardener or that doesn't have green fingers. So great choice. It's perfect for bedrooms, corners, and also for beginners, of course. It tolerates very low light, so you can put this even in a bathroom space where there isn't a lot of light, and it doesn't need a lot of watering. So extremely hardy. It's the easiest overall of all the plants that we're going to look at today. Secondly, the best for styling is the pothos. Very fast-growing vines, so these are perfect to put on shelves. They've got the trailing, it's a trailing plant, so it adds a lot of drama to the room and movement as well, because the minute you've got a breeze coming through, you'll see the plant actually moving with the breeze. Beautiful for shelving, and it also gives you that vertical height because they can grow quite long. They need to be trimmed regularly. Very fast growing. And it is very, very forgiving. It's also one of the hardier plants. So good choice for styling. if you need a plant for styling. Then the lowest effort. This is the ZZ plant. It goes very well with modern designs. A clean, modern look. You can also, I don't want to say you neglect your plant on purpose, but it can withstand a bit of neglect. Also low light, it handles low light. So easy for those deeper spaces within your apartment that have the darker corners. Of course, all of these plants, you can get the larger plants can be used for your focal points in your room. Maybe not the pothos so much because that is a trailing plant, but the others we look at can all be used as your focal points, or they can be the smaller secondary plants that you've got in the space. Then you've got the Monstera. Now, this is a favorite for aesthetics. It's got the most impactful aesthetic of all the plants that we're going to look at. It's a favorite for decorators. It does grow quite big, so make sure that you have enough space for it. Very dramatic leaves, great for sunlight. It gives beautiful shadows on the floor, the walls as well, which obviously move as the sun moves. And a beautiful focal point plant. And lastly for today, we're going to look at the peace lily. This is the best flowering plant. I have quite a few of these myself, and very elegant. And they do tell you when they need water, and they do literally droop. So you'll see the plant actually drooping. The minute you give it a bit of water, it perks up again and it looks good as new. So very, very good choice for indoors. They can grow quite large, so just keep them nicely trimmed. A very hardy plant this as well, I must say. Calming, it's a very calming plant, so good for bedrooms. We'll have a look at the which plants go best in which room as well. So best plant layout for living rooms, there you can see a beautiful Monstera. As you can see, it is quite big, but very dramatic. I would say it's the first thing I see when I look at that space. I don't see the artwork first or the furniture first. I see the Monstera taking center stage. Beautiful. But then also you've got the pothos on the shelf, just balancing it out and just having that beautiful soft training down the side of the bookshelf. So that really is, it's a really good way to balance it. Make sure you always balance your plants. Don't just have one. Balance the room as you would with furniture or with artwork. Do the same with your plants. Then for the bedrooms, normally your bedroom area would be smaller than your living room. So the snake plant is particularly good for that because it is a more vertical plant. It doesn't take up too much horizontal space. So very, very good for corners, the snake plant. And then, of course, the peace lily will bring in that calmness, and you've got a bit of floral as well, which is great. So the snake plant, good, again, for corners or next to your bedside table. And the peace lily could go on your bedside table or your dressing table. Then for your workspace, the ZZ plant looks great. It doesn't need a lot of work. It doesn't take a lot of space. So just a good little add-on for your workspace if you feel that you want some greenery. And your entrance hall, the foyer. Of course, your snake plant goes anywhere and everywhere. And because your foyer normally doesn't have a lot of light, this is a very good choice because it doesn't need light. I think you can put a Monstera here as well, but generally they need quite a bit of space. So as you see that as your entrance coming in as a guest into the house, it's a very welcoming first impression or welcoming feeling that you get when you enter the home. And then empty corners, of course, the snake plant, great choice once again. Very, very versatile plant. So I would say everybody should have one somewhere in their house. And just it brings the dead corners alive. Again, don't overuse it, but it is a very fast way to upgrade a room. So what are the rules when it comes to bringing greenery and planting into the home? For any space, be it an open space, be it a room like a bedroom, even bathrooms, the pothos are great for bathrooms as well. Have one big focal point plant, and then you can have 2 or 3 secondary ones, but make sure you place them intentionally. Don't have too many little things all over the place. It just defeats the purpose of what you're trying to do. But if you stick to this ratio, then it does make the room look intentionally designed. Also, don't clutter, don't have too many again. I think what we have in this image here, it's almost bordering on being too many plants. And place them nearer light, make the plants the feature of the room, if that's what you're striving for. The Monstera we've got here in this image, nice and small still. Just keep in mind that it will grow, and it does grow quite large. So you might want to then move it to a different place. It'll definitely be too big for where it's standing currently. And you don't want to take light away from the room either. So just be mindful of that when you are placing your plants near the windows. Don't make the room dark because you have too many plants. And again, use the different heights. So have some plants on the floor, others can be trailing off a shelf. Different heights of plants as well always works well. So just a quick before and after. Beautiful apartment this. Really well appointed, well furnished. It's a beautiful apartment. When you bring the greenery and the plants in, it just elevates it to the next level. So whereas this could be a showroom, the minute you bring the greenery in, it now becomes a home. And us as humans, we are naturally drawn to biophilic design, which is your plants. It also just breaks the hard lines, especially with apartments. There are very few apartments that have got curved lines. A lot of them are square, rectangular, harsh, modern lines. You can see the countertop of the island here. Beautiful, but hard linear lines. So the greenery just softens it, and it balances those sharp lines with just the organic curved flows. The green brings in instant calm and relaxation into the space. This is an example of common mistakes that can be made. Too many plants, too many little tiny plants everywhere. Try not to overdo it with your plants. Be intentional about what you're going to do. And in this image as well, lighting has been ignored. So if we have a look at the alternative, we've got just the 3 plants, and the snake plant in the corner takes up very little space. It's got a bit of lighting coming from the pot in which it is. And the shelf's got a beautiful LED light underneath it. So just adding a little bit of drama to our pothos, which we've got on the shelf. And of course, the Monstera, or the delicious monster, being the star of the show, which it normally is. And just balancing it. So it really just has a really very nice homely feel. So that would be really the recipe. 1 large plant, 1 corner plant, and 1 trailing plant. Also, we do this often with design, not just with planting. Even if you were looking at cushions on a couch, for instance, work in odd numbers. So 1, 3, 5, work in varying heights, which we do in exterior planting as well. Interior, you're not going to have your as you would in a garden, your tall plants at the back, your mediums, and then your ground covers. but just add a bit of interest to the room. Don't have them all the same height. Make them different heights, shelves at different levels, for instance. And then make sure that the plants and the entire room has got space to breathe. And you do that by not overcrowding it with too many plants. And next week's topic, we are going to be talking about how do you create a cozy bedroom. So we'll give you a couple of tips and tricks on that. But that was our talk for today. Again, if any of you need any design help, be it landscaping design, interior design, architectural design, you're more than welcome to reach out to us. We do design concept designs globally, and of course, locally in New Zealand, we can assist you with council submissions and approvals as well. Or if you just need some design advice. Often we do get clients that send us emails or inquire on our website, and they send us photos of their space, and they often just need a little bit of advice, which we give them. But yes, feel free to get in touch, and we'll see you all next week with our very exciting topic of creating a cozy bedroom. Thank you so much for joining, and we'll see you all again next week. Thank you.